What's going on, y'all? It's your boy Alex. Shout out to the Elite Fleet. Make sure you like and subscribe so you can become a member of Elite Fleet. And we're gonna do a reaction to my man We Need to Talk's video. I mess with the We Need to Talk channel. He comments here from time to time. I like him. I like what he's trying to do. I think it's kind of a waste of time, but I respect him for trying to do it. I appreciate the platform that he's trying to build over there. And that man has the patience of a saint. A lot of y'all think I have the patience of a saint. That man has the patience of a saint. Because I already told y'all before, I'm not debating with women. It's a waste of time to debate with women. And this video is going to show you exactly why I say that. I mean, from start to finish, why I say it is a waste of time to debate with women. Because if you're a man and you're watching this, okay, this is the exact type of woman you damn sure don't waste your time arguing with her, because she's bullheaded and she's not going to listen to anything you're saying. And if you're a woman and you're watching this breakdown, I want you to pay attention to how annoying how she's being is and how bullheaded this woman is being. And if you have a tendency to act like that, you're probably going to not be quite as bad as her. But if we're being honest, there's probably going to be some parts of this where you watch and you go, ooh, I do that. Stop doing it. All right? Stop doing it, because it annoys the hell out of men. And you will not be able to ever effectively communicate with men if you act like this, which is usually going to put you on the path to being a pass around and never being kept. All right? Men do not like to keep combative women who do not know how to listen, especially when they're wrong, which we're going to get into further in this video. Now, B. Taylor is the woman he's interviewing. The manosphere tends to hate B. Taylor. Like, a lot of people have a lot of smoke for B. Taylor. Now, me personally, I don't hate B. Taylor. I don't got no problem with B. Taylor. I don't even know the girl, all right? I can see why a lot of them can't stand her and she gets on their nerves. All right, she got mad at me because I did a reply to one of her videos where she was talking about why men date younger women. And I was like, no, that's not true. You don't know what you're talking about. Now, if any of you checked out one of my more viral videos where I did the response to Six the Goddess, I really hate when women come on here and they talk about why men do things or what it means with a man. That you don't know what you're talking about. Talk to the women. And if you do want to talk to the men about why a woman may or may not be doing something. But don't talk to men about interactions men have with women as if you know what you're talking about, because you don't. So that's all I said. She got mad, she got in her feelings. But she didn't comment on the video where, ironically, I was the only person who actually defended her when she made that roster comment. Everybody else was roasting her when Anton set her up with just pasty things, aka just Nazi things, BK just pearly things. And she made that comment about having a roster and not dating one man at a time. And Pearl was like, oh my God, I can't believe, there's no way I would only date one woman at a time. How could you date multiple men at a time? That's crazy. Even though Pearl's best friend came out and basically said she was a super thought who barely ever had a boyfriend. And I told y'all before that was the case. I'm like, Pearl is capping. Women don't date one man at a time. Pearl's just smart enough to not come online and say that because she knows that's what men don't want to hear. Like, basically, Pearl's smart enough to pretend she's not a bird. B. Taylor removed all doubt. Like, that's essentially what she did. So, We Need to Talk's gonna come and try to explain to her why men didn't like what she had to say. And this whole conversation, like I said, if you're a male or a female, you're gonna be able to learn a lot from the reaction to this, because this whole conversation is exactly why I say men don't even deal with a woman who acts like this. Just let her mature on her own. Don't even try to, just let her go out there and let the world keep kicking her ass. And if she comes back a better woman in time with no baggage, then you can date her then. But if she doesn't, hey, you know, sometimes you gotta lose one. And if you're a woman, just make sure you're not acting like this. Like, just make sure you're not acting like this. But with all that being said, let's get straight into the video.
Respectfully, I gather that you want to understand men.
Mm-hmm.
Let me rephrase it. You want to understand men. Does that make sense?
Want to understand men.
You want to understand men. However, I think there is some reservation that it might compromise who you are. Like, you would be giving something up. And I think that is kind of creating some resistance with actually hearing what it is that I was saying and the context that I was trying to add to the conversation. Because there was a lot of, yeah, but When Courtney, Michelle, and I did a conversation, we had a whole stream about sex. One of the things that was brought up is this whole how long should a man last in bed? Right? And there was a street interview that we referenced, and the young lady said, well, if my stuff is good, he probably won't last long. Right? The counterintuitive truth there is a dude who's able to fuck you for 2 hours straight is either number one, getting so much sex that your shit don't really do nothing for him, or number two, your shit is dap, not wap.
Oh, what? Okay.
So, and that's counterintuitive because we're taught that, you know, if it's good, he's going to want to stay in it, boom, boom, boom. So, similarly, to bring it to what you're saying, a dude who is unconcerned with who other potential suitors are, and da, 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 either number one, he already has you locked down.
What do you mean locked down?
He already has you like he's already slept with you. He knows that you ain't going nowhere.
That's
boom,
not.
boom, boom.
We're not talking about. We're not talking about that.
Yeah, no, you're right. You're right. I'm talking about they're all suitors, right?
Or you're not sleeping with them.
Sure.
I'm sorry that some women don't have self-control. That's sad.
No, I
that
agree
a lot
with
of women
you.
out there.
I agree with you.
If you are a woman that's saying there's no way, that means you don't have self-control over your body.
All right, so I had to switch positions because the sun was kicking my ass. But here's problem number one. She keeps getting triggered by the idea that if a woman has all these potential shooters and she's dating all these men at one time, then it means that she has to be having sex with them. And here's how I know she's triggered by that. Because the man started off by saying a man who knows that a woman has multiple suitors and he doesn't care either knows he has her already locked down or, and before he could get to the or, she cut him off. But what do you mean knows he has her locked down? He's like, well, he's already hit it. No, we're not talking about that. No. First of all, for the conversation to not be disingenuous from jump, we have to acknowledge that most women, if they're dating multiple men, they're sleeping with at least one or two of them. All right, probably more. This is a fact. That doesn't mean all, no, but he didn't say all. As a matter of fact, he literally said or, which means he was going to present another scenario. But you got so triggered by the idea that a man feel like he got one of the girls locked down because he already hit it, that you didn't even let him get to his other point. No, we're not talking about that. We're not talking about that. We can't have an honest conversation about it if we don't acknowledge that a lot of women who are dating multiple men are sleeping with multiple men. Again, it's just a fact. It's just a fact. And here's the thing, and I try to explain this to women all the time. Even if you're not having traditional lay down, cheek clap sex with a dude, right? If you're forming emotional connections with multiple men, it's actually worse. Because what'll happen is now you're gonna fall in love with multiple men. Don't nobody want to deal with a woman who's in love with multiple men unless, again, he know he got multiple options and he not really taking you that serious and he's just trying to crack you too. He may not have cracked you yet, I'll give her that caveat, but he's just trying to crack you too. So it doesn't make a difference, like to think, well, I'm not sleeping with them, so that makes it better. Not necessarily. I mean, you gotta realize women wouldn't consider, if a woman gave a dude a blowjob, right? She's not gonna consider that sleeping with him. So she'll tell you, well, I didn't have sex with him, and she gave him a blowjob, or she jerked him off, or he already seen her naked and gave her a full body massage. And there's all these gray areas, but in their head, sex is just that. It's sex. It's the penetrative act of sex. And there's multiple things. Most dudes I know be more mad if you giving your suitors BJs than if you was giving them sex. Real talk. Then there's a lot of dudes, like I said, who will be more mad, especially if they're trying to take you serious and you're forming multiple emotional connections with dudes. So the sex part of it isn't even that big of a deal, but she's triggered by that because she doesn't like the idea that because she said that, people are writing off that she's probably sleeping with multiple men at one time, which she probably is. And the fact that she always gets triggered by that makes it more inclined to believe that that's what she's doing than it's not. I'd be more inclined to believe she wasn't sleeping with all these guys if she didn't get so triggered by that. She didn't even let my man present the second option. But let's continue.
So, or like I said, or again, I think for the sake of this conversation, we're gonna assume I know niggas, right? I know men. I've been a niggas and I know niggas. With that being said, that dude who doesn't care don't like you that much.
No, I don't agree. I don't agree because I know women who have dated and the man didn't care, and that's their man. They got engaged to that person. They eventually married that person. Like, I'm sorry, but maybe it's just this YouTube thing, but like, we don't deal with insecure men. Like, I think it's an insecurity thing, and I'll stand on that. I think, like I said, as long as you're not sleeping with people, you know, until you commit to that woman, you shouldn't be asking her questions of what she's doing on her downtime, because she's not committed to you. If she's only known you for a week, you're not entitled to her entire life.
That's not the point I'm making. I think you're missing the point I'm making.
All right, now, first of all, I want y'all to pay attention to something. You see how he said, for the sake of this conversation, assume that I know men, and she didn't want to give him that? It's funny to me how women think that they're the authority on how men move in masculinity. It's funny to me that they think that, because you can't tell them nothing about how women move with femininity. You try to talk to about what women do or why women do it or anything that has to do with anything feminine or what women say or how women act, they'll say, stay out of women's business. You don't know what you're talking about. And da 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 da. Like, I'll give you guys a prime example. I did a video probably about a year and a half to a year ago on Nick Cannon when he's talking about women having smells down there. And I said, you're supposed to get a pap smear once every 3 years. All the women came in and said, that's not true. You're supposed to get a pap smear every year. This is why men shouldn't be speaking on women, and men should stay out of women's business, and men don't understand women's bodies, and da da da. As if I can't possibly know anything about a vagina. Like, we didn't have sex ed. Like, you can't read a book. Like, you know what I mean? And learn about the vagina. When the reality is, if you literally look it up, you can go to WebMD. All right, you can go to Mayo Clinic. Hell, you can go to Johns Hopkins Medicine. And all these things will literally tell you it's recommended you get a pap smear once every 3 years. So I was speaking a medical fact, but because I'm a man saying it, I don't know what I'm talking about. A man shouldn't be talking about women's business. But this man says, hey, let's assume I'm the authority on men, and I know how men move. And she goes, nah, we ain't going to do that. You see what I'm saying? It's got to be how she feels and what her reality is, irregardless of anything. Now, here's the thing. What he was saying was completely facts. The only way a man's going to be okay with knowing that you're dating other men is if he's dating other women, a.k.a. he got the girls, so he don't give a damn what you do, because he can replace you at any time too, or he just doesn't really care about you like that. He just wants to smash. If a man can't get women, right, or doesn't have options, and if a man really cares about you, it's no way he's going to be okay with you dating multiple men. He didn't say anything wrong. But because it doesn't fit the narrative of what she wants it to be, she's going to say that that's not true. And what's she going to be? Well, me and my friends, we don't date insecure men. No, you and your friends date men who have women. That's why they don't give a damn if you're dating multiple men. You and your friends also date men who are not serious about you. That's why your ass ain't married yet. So you saying you and your friends don't have that problem. Then she wants to go and say, well, some of my friends are engaged and their men didn't care. And it's annoying when people do this, because when you use anecdotal evidence like that, we have no idea if you're even telling the truth. We don't know your friends. I wouldn't even be annoyed if you took a study or if there were other women on a panel and you asked the other women. But to just say your friends, we don't even know, you don't know your friends. So if you're going to use your friends as an example for something, it proves nothing, because we don't even know if you're telling the truth. We don't even know if your friends did that. You're like, oh, my friend. First of all, the likelihood your friend told her fiance when they first started dating that she's dating multiple men, and he was just like, okay, sweetheart. And they went on to have a happy life and got married, is slim to none. Because most women ain't going to tell you they dating multiple men. They're not. Most women are going to do what Pearl did, which is why I called her out for lying. But I said she's smart, because Pearl knows men don't want to hear you out here in these streets. Now, real dudes know. I tell you dudes all the time. Women are never single. They're never just talking to one guy. All right? A woman, whenever you're dealing with a woman, you either taking her from the dude who just smashing it at the time, you taking her from another dude that she's dating, or she already has a whole ass boyfriend and she's monkey branching over to you. In some way, shape, or form, she's monkey branching. But women are social creatures. They're intimate creatures and they're emotional creatures. And there's no way they don't have some type of a man around there in one of those three capacities when your ass come. Unless you catch her at the absolute perfect time, which is only gonna happen 1 out of 10 times. The vast majority of the time, you're taking her from some other man in some capacity. But out of respect, the women ain't gonna tell you that. The women aren't gonna tell you that. It's like the unwritten rule. You just know it if you know it. But a dude with no women and a dude who really likes you, he don't want to hear that. It's the same thing with women. Like, guys, if a woman likes you, right? And the way a woman's head works, if she likes you, she makes the assumption all the women like you. So she's already under the assumption when she first starts dating you that you're talking to other women. That don't mean she want to hear about how many women you have. You ain't going to call no woman that you dating and be like, oh, yeah, I was just with the hoes last night. She don't want to hear that. She don't want to hear that. So you can acknowledge something, but you don't want to hear it. That's what I'm saying. That's why I said even though Pearl was capping, she was smart because she's going to put out the facade that she's only dating one man at a time because she knows men don't want to hear that she's dating multiple men at a time. B. Taylor is basically removing all doubt that she's a bird. She's saying, oh yeah, I'm a bird. She's flapping her wings in your face. Which is just not smart. Because like you said, the only two men who aren't going to care about that is a dude who's been flapping his wings too, or a dude who just don't really like you like that. I'm going to tell y'all something else. Like, a woman naturally, once she starts to like you, she's going to try to make it seem like you're the only guy. You're not going to be the only guy, but she's going to try to make it seem like you're the only guy. Most of them are going to do what Pearl did. What B. Taylor is doing is just arrogance and trying to move like a man. But she's not going to say it like that. She's going to say, oh, no, we just don't date insecurity. It has nothing to do with insecurity. Again, you're not going to call a girl you're dating and she's like, hey, what you been doing for the last 2 days? Oh, I was with the hoes. You just don't do that. It's base level respect. What's understood don't got to be explained. Now, I always tell dudes don't lie, right? So you should tell a woman you're dating around, right? Or tell a woman you're not exclusive. But you don't tell a woman how many women you're dating or about your other dating life. You just say, hey, listen, you know we're dating. I'm not exclusive. And as a woman, you don't say nothing. Again, a real man already knows you're probably dating around, but you don't remove all doubt. That's a masculine thing to say, oh, yeah, I got several men vying for me right now. Just focus on that man. Just do that. All right? Like I told dudes all the time, a woman wants to pretend. Let the woman pretend she's the only girl in your world. She don't want to hear about the other girls. Why would you tell a dude you dating all these? What's the point? What's the point? A man not expecting you to be exclusive to him anyway until he make you his girl. It's just a level of arrogance for a woman to go forth and say that. But let's continue.
That's not the point I'm making. I think you're missing the point I'm making.
What
like
point
I said,
are you making?
like I said in the beginning, we're gonna assume I know men a bit better than the average woman.
And I know women.
Sure. And right now we're talking about men and their motivations.
Mm-hmm.
So with that being said, we're not talking about insecurity. That's not what I'm saying.
Mm-hmm.
But what I'm saying to you is on the because we can all come up with anecdotal evidence to reject whatever it is that we don't want to agree with. But on the macro, if a guy really does like you and really does want you, it will bother him if you are entertaining other men.
How
if
can
it
he
does
like you that fast?
If it does not, because I'm speaking to a man who's actually done his due diligence on you as well. So you're not just a random girl. Like, he's done his own research. So you're like, you know what I'm saying? This is somebody I really want to pursue seriously. With that being said, if he is okay with it, and again, I've been a dude, it's either number one, he doesn't really care about you, or number two, he views you as a trophy.
I don't agree, because I've seen women do that and they got married.
I just said we can all come up with anecdotal experiences to negate anything. So I'm speaking on the macro, because I'm sure there's examples that don't line up with what I'm saying. There, obviously. But on the macro, we can only speak in generalities, because everybody's not Allen. Everybody's not BT.
No, he just said what I just said. Anyone could come up with an anecdotal situation to make how they want to feel right. Ladies, please don't. This annoys the hell out of men when y'all do that. Well, I know someone, or I got a friend who, it doesn't matter. Like, when I be talking to one chick, she always refers everything back to her city and her state. Well, in my state, and it's funny because it's not even the whole state. She'll start off saying the state, but I'm like, you're not even well traveled in the state. So you're really not talking about the state. You're talking about your city in the state and really your friends in your suburb in that city, in that state. That does not in any way, shape, or form represent the world. It doesn't. And again, when you're using my friends or the people I know or in my neighborhood, there's no way we can even prove that you're not lying about that. Because you can easily just say, well, I know a guy or I know a girl where in my neighborhood or in my state they don't do this. How the hell do we know you're not lying? How do we know you're not lying? We don't. Now, I will say this. I do agree with B. Taylor about the fact that it shouldn't, like, he's like, at what point do you cut the men off? She's like, well, basically when he starts applying pressure. I actually agree with her about that, right? Because like I told you guys before, assume a woman's always monkey branching from somebody. If you pay attention to what B. Taylor just said, and this is a gym, she just proved my point. She said once the dude starts applying pressure and the date goes really well and the other guy, like, he's around, but he ain't really, this dude seems better than that guy, I'll slowly start cutting the other guy off and go into you. What did I say earlier? I keep trying to tell y'all I know what I'm talking about. What did I say earlier? They're either, you're taking her for someone she's smashing, you taking her for someone else she was dating, or you're taking her for someone she was in a relationship with, but they're never single. The problem here, all right, B. Taylor's 100% right now. Until you apply enough pressure that I start to like you, and until it starts to seem like, you know, we're getting serious, or you tell me that you're mutually exclusive, hey, I'm going to keep my options open. That's not the problem. I already told y'all how women operate. Once they start to like you, they're going to slowly cut the other dudes off. So you should already go in knowing that there's other dudes. The problem is she's saying that she has a roster. And she's implying that her friends who got married told their fiancés that they have a roster. There's no way. I'm not going to say there's no way, but the likelihood of that, again, a woman's going to tell a man, I'm dating multiple men, and that man's going to go on to marry her is slim to none. It's a respect thing. We know you're dating other men. She just doesn't want to hear about those other women. You're only telling a woman, hey, we're not mutually exclusive, so that way if she finds out about something, she can't get mad, right? Out of respect for the woman, you're telling her that. Out of respect for the man, you don't tell him that you're dating around. That's what she's missing, and that's why he keeps saying you're missing my point. What she's missing is, out of respect for the man, you don't tell him that you're dating around. When you're with him, just lock in on him. No man wants to hear about another dude you're dealing with. They don't. And chances are, even if they don't care, they still don't want to hear it. Like, why? Because again, I can't sit here and talk to you about who else I'm talking to or who else I'm smashing. You don't want to hear that. So out of respect for the man, yeah, you keep your options open until he makes you exclusive, but you don't say that. Saying it is what makes it birdish. Saying it is what makes it birdish. Just keeping it real than it's being crass, right? Talking to a woman about other women you're dealing with or other women you're smashing is being crass. Telling a woman, hey, listen, I am still dating, I'm not exclusive with you yet, is just being honest. As a woman, he should assume if you're not his girl, your options are open. You don't say that to him. That's just crass. For a woman, that's crass. I'm talking to multiple guys. You just don't say that. But let's continue to
There's
wrap
examples that don't line up with what I'm saying. There, obviously, but on the macro, we can only speak in generalities because everybody's not Allen,
The
everybody's
women
not
that I
B.
know,
Taylor.
the men are not asking them, who are you with? Yeah. Like crazy territorial people.
I'm not talking about that. I'm talking behind the scenes. I'm trying to tell you what's going on in men's mind. And we might not vocalize it, but I'm trying to tell you what's going on behind the scenes.
When they first meet a woman, they want to sleep with her.
Yes.
Right. So what makes a man look at a woman more than just something they want to sleep with? They get to know her. So if a woman knows that you're only approaching me right now because you want to sleep with me, right? You don't even like me yet.
I'm not talking about like he likes you just off the bat meeting you. I'm talking about y'all been talking for a while. You got to know each other a little bit. See, that's what I'm talking about.
You're losing me because I clearly stated that if you are talking,
at what point do you dismiss the other guys? Let's kind of figure it out.
Right.
At what point? Yeah.
Because like that's what I'm saying. Like a week. Like what are you guys doing? No. If I'm talking to a guy and we went on one date and the date went great, I'm gonna be excited for the second date. And whoever I was talking to before him, and if we not really like on that level, like the pressure that he's putting on, I'm gonna slowly fade away from them. Like, and then as I go on the second date and he's letting me know that like maybe what I would say it doesn't take that long for a man to know if he wants to be with you, right? I say I give it about 6 weeks to 8 weeks. That's when a man should know if he wants to be with you. So during those periods of y'all getting to know each other and he's really showing up, he's being consistent, he's hitting you up every day, y'all are talking on the phone every day, y'all seeing each other, he's planning dates. Anytime he talks about the future, he's adding you in it. That's a man you cannot risk losing for some dudes that y'all are just probably texting here and there and there. So have there's been and it's just like, has there been a situation where two men at once are putting pressure? You're gonna go with the man that you like the most and brush off the other ones and then eventually they're gonna go their own way. They may still hit you up, but you're not paying them no mind, no attention anymore. And then I think by that 8th week, 6th week mark, you should ask him, hey, where are we going with this? Where I think women shouldn't be scared to ask, hey, where are we going with this? Like, is it just me and you? Like, where are we going with this? And he'll let you know right then and there. I want you to be my woman. I want to be committed. That's when you don't play around any. Like, don't even. They should be blocked at this point. Everybody should be blocked at this point. That's where I say.
One of the things that I bring up a lot as far as, why so many of our women are having such a hard time in dating these days is because a lot of our women, number one, they neglect the self-work and the understanding of self. And number two, and I think this is vital, they enter the relationship beginning stages in bad faith. Like they enter it expecting things to go bad. So they feel this sense of having a backup plan, having an alternative. And again, that's okay if you don't want certain outcomes. But for the women who might be watching this, who might listen to this later, who want the outcome of monogamy, want the outcome of marriage even, the one at a time gets you to that better than the best man.
Why are there so many women saying their time was wasted and they stayed too long trying to make something work because they really put all their eggs and invested? One thing a woman hates is investing so much of her time in a man, because y'all telling us constantly, if I've been with you for this amount of months and I'm invested so much of my time, one thing a woman hates is starting over. Okay, so to say that.
But remember, the first thing I said is an understanding of herself. No, it's the first thing I said was an understanding of herself and what it is that she needs. Unfortunately, women, and I've said this before jokingly, women spend more time on a motherfucker's Instagram instead of his LinkedIn. So a lot of women, unfortunately, prioritize superficial aspects of masculinity because they barely understand femininity, so they don't know what to look for or how to vet men. And that's why they end up spending and wasting so much time with shitty dudes. And later on, instead of taking some kind of accountability of the part they played in the toxicity and choosing that, they would rather say, I'm going to just switch up my tactic as opposed to getting to know myself better. Because again, not only have I participated in this, I've seen these things play out. The women who are just dating because it's fun and may the best man win, typically there are one-offs, like you said, I agree with you. But typically that does not end well because that woman continues to obfuscate responsibility to every external factor outside of herself, as opposed to recognizing that I am the common denominator with each of these guys and all this time that I've wasted.
All right, now, as we get ready to wrap this up, this is another gem. She proved another one of my points. She said, and I quote, once you really start liking the man, you basically start to ask him, okay, where's this going? Or, are we being serious? Or basically you start to put that pressure to get into a relationship on him. This is why I told you guys before, and again, like I always say, the dudes who stay to the end get the best gems. This is why I tell you guys, you don't ask women to be your girlfriend. Now, you're the one responsible for proposing. You're the one responsible for vetting and making sure that she's passed all your tests and everything is a green flag for marriage. But when it comes to a relationship, you don't ask a woman to be your girlfriend. Let the woman apply the pressure first. Let her ask, what are we? Or where is this going? Or something like that, because that means she's ready to lock in. Like she said, at that point, she's already blocked everyone. She's ready to lock in. So you still have leverage. If you ask a girl to be your girlfriend before she, in any way, shape, or form, suggests to you that that's what she wants, y'all going to have a horrible relationship. I'm just telling y'all what I know. I'm telling y'all what I know. And multiple men would agree with me about this. She needs to be the one applying pressure to you, because that means she sees your value. She sees you as a masculine man. She sees you as that guy. She already thinking about having kids with you. She's already thinking about being your wife. She already sees you as a man she could submit to. If she asks you, what are we, or where's this going, she's already envisioned herself being everything you need. That's when you go ahead, if you like her, like she said, you go, hey man, it's me and you. And then you lock in. But you do not ask a girl to be your girlfriend, because if you gotta ask her to be your girlfriend, she's not locked in. So she might say yes for the security and the protection or whatever, but there's a reason she didn't ask you, what are we, or where is this going, or anything like that. And chances are it's because she don't think you're that guy. She thinks she can do better than you. So she's placeholding you in that roster, as B. Taylor call it. She's placeholding you in that roster until she does find that guy. But you're not that guy. So all you're going to do is get your feelings hurt. Because you're going to be in a relationship as a placeholder. You're going to get cheated on. She's going to monkey brains to someone else. But if she says to you, what are we? Where is this? She starts applying pressure to you. Then again, like I said, if she passed all your relationship vetting, then you go ahead and lock in. Now, if you haven't been through your whole vetting process yet, then you don't lock in. But that's when you go ahead and lock in. As far as her talking about why there's so many women saying a man wasted my time and all that, similar to what he said, that has nothing to do with men. That's on the women. And he's 100% right. Women do pay more attention to a dude's Instagram than his LinkedIn profile and things of that nature. Like, we all know that about them. I don't have to reiterate that. He stated that perfectly. That has to do with self-work, picking the right man, taking your time, not rushing into something because he had a nice whip and because he had money or because he hit it right or because he got clout or any of that superficial stuff. Really getting to know this guy and liking him as a person and saying, this is the guy I want to be with. And the superficial stuff isn't necessarily bad, but there has to be some liking this person as a person to it. It's the same thing I tell men. I'm like, hey man, if you're just going to go out here and grab you a baddie and lock in with the baddie because she's a baddie and she's a trophy you can show off, you're going to get cooked. You're going to get divorce scraped and you're going to get cooked. You need to make sure you can lock in with this woman emotional and spiritual level, that y'all are on the same page mentally, that y'all got the same goals, the same family traditions and aspirations and things of that nature, the non-superficial stuff. So I do agree with B. Taylor about that. But the problem that she's not understanding is men do not want to hear from a woman who they're taking serious, hey, I got all these guys and you're competing for a spot. And even deeper than that, a woman's not going to say that to you unless she thinks you're a sucker. She's saying she had friends who did that. I don't believe her. I don't believe her. I don't know a woman who's serious about a man who's telling a man, I'm dating other guys. Again, it's something that we know, but it doesn't have to be stated. And like I said, at max, even as a man, you might tell a woman we're not exclusive yet, just so that she knows that, especially if it seems like she's starting to lock in. And be like, I'm still vetting, I'm still deciding. But you don't come to her and talk to her about, I got this chick over here and I got her and her and her and her. You don't do that. You can't do that. That doesn't make any sense. And that's the part that she's missing. Like he said, unless the dude already got women, so you just another woman on his team, so he don't care, or he just want to smash, so he don't care in general. The dude's serious about you and he's trying to lock in. He don't want to hear that. But that's my thoughts on that. Ladies, like I said, if you're one of those ladies who go out here and y'all use anecdotal evidence all the time, and God forbid you out here telling men you're dating other men, don't do that. Don't do that, all right? If he asks, sure, you can say it, but he's probably not going to ask you because It's just not a masculine question to ask. I've never asked a girl, are you dating other men? For what? I'm just worried about me and you. I don't really care what you're doing with anybody else. So that's not something you should even bring up. And if you're trying to have an intellectual conversation with a man, please do not use anecdotal evidence. My friend this, and I know a guy that, don't do that. It's annoying. I would rather you just say you feel like this to bring up my friend this or in my city that. That is it's extremely annoying to men when y'all do that. Do not debate like that. Don't talk like that. But this is why I said to you guys earlier in the video, it's pointless to debate with women because they don't listen. They don't listen. And they're coming from their perspective and their experience, and they're going to warp the conversation to be how they want it to be. Again, the only time I think it's necessary for a man to debate with a woman or even waste his time having a serious conversation like this with a woman is if she did something that you don't like that could potentially be a deal breaker or is a red flag. Then I would say put that extra effort in. But otherwise, why even waste your time? Because it's going to end up like this. 10 minutes and she learned nothing. She still feel how she feel. It was a waste of time. But again, I appreciate him for putting in the effort. I see what he's trying to do. It couldn't be me. But either way, y'all, that's my thoughts on that. I am Alex, and I am out. Peace.